PGA Tour just announced their newest stop for the 2026 season, and it is in one of the most scenic places in America. We're going to talk about it here on Golf with Mitch. All right, it's been a fun FedEx Cup fall year, and we're excited to talk about next season, 2026, already. A couple days ago, I talked about how the Good franchise, famous YouTube group, has bought the sponsorship rights to a PGA Tour event starting in 2026 during the fall season, and how they're pairing that with the Big Break franchise from years ago on Golf Channel. They're creating this new TV shows, reality TV golf series where people are competing to play in their event that is now a PGA Tour stop. Super excited about that. I think that's going to bring some hype to the PGA Tour here in the off-season fall series. But today, the PGA Tour just announced their newest stop, and it's in Asheville, North Carolina. And there's a couple of reasons why that's really cool. But I want to talk about how it is being held at the Cliffs at Walnut Cove. One of the coolest, most scenic places. It's going to be called the Biltmore Championship. And if you're not familiar with the Biltmore family or the Biltmore estate, there's an estate in Asheville, North Carolina that is massive. It's incredible. It's pretty much a tourist location now, a tourist site where people can go see this mansion, this huge estate. And they put on a great show around Christmas time, and it's just super scenic in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. And now the Biltmore Estate combined with Visit Asheville are co-sponsoring the Biltmore Championship starting in 2026 for the PGA Tour. They've locked in a 4-year agreement to where the PGA pros are going to be playing in the mountains of Asheville, North Carolina. And one of the reasons I think that's really cool is because Asheville is still recovering from Hurricane Helene. I don't know if you remember, but last year in 2024, Asheville got destroyed with flash floods from the immense amount of rain from Hurricane Helene. Now, Asheville is a mountain town, far more inland in North Carolina, that usually isn't affected by hurricanes, but Hurricane Helene was one where it brought tons of rain from the coast all the way inland and just dumped on the Asheville area and the surrounding cities. Now, I'm only about 2 hours away from Asheville, so we also got hit by the hurricane and a lot of rain, things like that, but we're not in the mountains, so we weren't affected by the flash flooding that Asheville was prone to. And it ripped through towns, destroyed roads, freeways, interstates, and unfortunately, a lot of people lost their lives as well. Being here in North Carolina at that time, it was really cool to see everyone in the community band together, donate food, time, services to help those in need, help build Asheville back up. I was fortunate enough to be able to go help with some of the tree removal of some of the roads that were being blocked soon after all the damage occurred. But something that big and that massive takes a toll on a town, and there's a lot of recovery that still needs to happen in Asheville. And so I think that the PGA Tour going to Asheville after such a devastating event is awesome, and it's something that is going to be very exciting for the residents of Asheville as well to get hype about the town, get tourism boosted back up in the Asheville area. But yeah, the Biltmore Estate, awesome. Now, the course itself is going to be scenic. I think one of the reasons I love the FedEx Cup Fall Series is because they play in locations that they don't normally play in during the PGA Tour. Talked a little bit about this a few weeks ago when they were playing in southern Utah. Desert climate, but in this course at Black Desert, where it is just lava rock and super scenic, unlike any other course that you'd see on the PGA Tour. But the course is in pristine condition, really good, great playing conditions, and provides an awesome location for the PGA Tour. Then you also have the mountain courses, growing up in Utah, we didn't really have very many PGA Tour events, but there are so many cool scenic mountain courses. Now in North Carolina, there are also mountains, not nearly the same as what you get on the Wasatch Front with what you get in Utah, Colorado, more out west, but very scenic nonetheless. So if you look at some of the pictures of this course, the cliffs at Walnut Grove, excuse me, the cliffs at Walnut Cove, super scenic, still mountainous. You still have guys playing at elevation that are going to be able to just bomb the ball and totally change how they play compared to when they're playing at sea level or at these courses that are on the coast, that have ocean views but just tons of wind as well. Instead, they're going to be playing up in the beautiful mountains and will be able to just launch the golf ball so much further, but have elevated tee shots, a lot more hills, things to deal with that way compared to some of the more flat terrain that you get during the regular season of the PGA Tour. Now, there are places like even at Augusta National where you get a lot of terrain changes, a lot of hills, things you're playing off. But when you're playing mountain courses, that elevation change happens quick, where if you have elevated tee shots or if you're hitting up a hill, you're literally hitting up a mountain. And so it's going to be fun to see the pros navigate a mountain course next year in 2026. So I was super excited to see that. Looking at the fall PGA Series for this year in 2025, the pros just finished playing in Mexico at the Worldwide Technology Championship. Someone that I wanted to point out who played pretty good, who has been in a slump, is Nick Dunlap. He's in the middle of his sophomore year, right? He had an incredible standout rookie season where he got 2 wins as a rookie on the PGA Tour, and everyone was super excited to see what Nick Dunlap was going to do, all to have a pretty dramatic sophomore slump. Unfortunate for the guy, would love to see him continue to do well, but he, playing in 2025, he made 13 cuts, but he missed 12 cuts. Not a great percentage of cuts made. And he just had his best finish of the year, though, here this last weekend. He got tied for 8th in Mexico, and hopefully that's going to be a sign of him coming out of his sophomore slump and will be ready to go for his 3rd year on tour as a pro. Keep in mind, one of his wins last year in 2024, he was an amateur. Super cool to see because that doesn't happen very often, getting an amateur winning on a PGA Tour event. So Nick Dunlap, a lot of hype around him last year. This year, have heard his name only a handful of times just because he hasn't been playing very good. He's had a lot of trouble off the tee. Sounds like he's making some coaching changes, so we'll see if he can get his confidence back with the big stick, with the driver, see if he can improve some of his driving stats. Other than that, the FedEx Cup fall is winding down, so keep an eye on a few people. Joel Damon, we've been watching this whole fall series. He's now in 111th place, so he keeps dropping back. He made the cut in Mexico, but didn't have the performance that he wanted, to where he dropped a little bit in those standings. He's got to be in the top 10 to secure 2026 full status card. Another one, Patrick Fishburne. He is in 107th. So another guy who really needs to play good over the next 2 or 3 events in order to lock in his card. Someone who's also on the bubble, but on the right side of it right now, is Bo Hostler, sitting at 98. So Bo's got to continue to play well in order to keep below that threshold so he can lock in his tour card. Michael Brennan, the sponsor exemption who won in Utah, wanted to bring him back up. Coming off a win, a lot of people usually struggle because of the amount of stress and fatigue it takes to win an event, as well as the celebration after. A little bit of a championship hangover. Luckily, he had a whole bye week leading into Mexico, but he still made the cut. He got it tied for 59th place in Mexico, shot a 69, 68, 70, 70. So it was clutch to be able to make the cut and to keep that streak going of really, really good golf. So excited to see him continue for the next couple weeks, and then to see him in the beginning of 2026 with all the exemptions that he was able to lock down with that win in Utah for his first win. Again, as a sponsor exemption, I still think that's one of the coolest things, to barely get into a tournament, and go on and win the thing and lock in your career, at least for the next couple years. So super pumped for Michael Brennan. Excited to see how he does. I think that's all we got for today. Excited to see how this season finishes up. Excited for the regular season next year, but now we've got some things to look forward to in fall of 2026 with some of these new events that the PGA Tour is adding. So thanks for tuning in. We'll talk more tomorrow.